English college.
Welcome back, and we are still here discussing the same topic, security management and corruption, here with Dr. Lionel Rawlins. And we've gotten a great deal out of Lionel this morning. Swiggle was asking a question about the fear factor and how it works, how effective it is.
Well, the fear factor can be used, or should be used, if you want to minimize or reduce corruption. We cannot stamp out corruption ultimately, absolutely. But we can reduce it and minimize it to a level where it's, you know, everyone can benefit from it. So the fear factor is used by creating laws and enforcing these laws. And then when you catch someone is involved in corruption, you embarrass them by sending them to prison. Because when you get sent to prison, then you lose all the money that you had, because the government should and will take it away from you. Whatever house or houses you have, they take it away. Pretty soon you'll have to take your children out of college because you can't afford it. And your wife is going to be walking around embarrassed because everybody will be pointing at her and say, oh, that's the wife of such and such. That, to me, if that doesn't scare you, then nothing else will. I remember when I was in college, I remember they had I think they call it a cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet.
A cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet.
Okay. Cheat sheet, which was
cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a sheet of paper that had all the answers to a test. Somebody got it from somewhere, and I don't know how they got it. But they were passing it around, and I remember thinking, I wanted to do it so badly, to use it, but it's because I was fearful that if I were to get caught, I would be embarrassed in front of the whole school. And I was involved with the student government when I was in college at the time, and I couldn't bear to be put in the newspapers for a student caught cheating. And it's a good thing I didn't get involved in it, because a week or so later,
they all got caught.
They all got caught. And they all were humiliated. And they all got kicked out of school. And so, you see, and sometimes you have to stop and think about your count your blessings.
If it wasn't for that decision, we wouldn't be here today with Dr. Lionel.
That's right. I would never made it through.
That's like a change in time. It's the fear factor. It's effective, but let's look at a country like Nigeria, for instance. Here, how effective do you think it could be in the government we have today in Nigeria? Because, for example, we rely and depend so much on corruption that, as you say, there's a circle, just like the system is a systematic, or systemic, or is it the grand type? In Nigeria, it's very tight. You know, we tend to keep the powerful people in the country you know, give posts like my daughter or my cousin or my nephew might be the commissioner of the police or something, and if the authorities cannot put fear in me, then how am I supposed to fear? How's that fear factor supposed to affect me?
If the authorities are your family?
Well, that's another problem because it's systemic. It's already here, and this is how it's done. You're going to have to put up with this for another couple of years because you're not going to get rid of all of these people all at once. But it is people like you and the younger people, when they come up in the next 10, 15 years.
So you just have to let it phase out.
Let it phase out, exactly, because you're not going to get rid of it. You have to let it pass its time, you know, let it wander the course. But the young people like you and younger, as you get more prominence and you get up there in the world, in society, it's up to you to change these attitudes and behaviors. Because if you don't, it will continue, and it's a vicious cycle. And the thing is, in the very powerful and the very rich all over the world, it's a small group, and they don't let anyone else in unless you can match the kind of money that they have. They have to look out for each other's interests and protect each other, because the poor man is not going to protect your interests. You know, in the United States and all over the world, they always want to tax the rich to give to the poor. And the rich does not like giving 50% of their earnings for you to give to the poor. So they go out and they become more corrupt. For that 50% you took, they're going to go for 100%.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they become more and more corrupt. So it's again one vicious cycle. You can't get rid of it, except people like you make that change.
Yeah. Now coming back to bribery, why do you think bribery is wrong? As in, for me to bribe someone, it can be a good bribe, or can it be a very bad bribe?
Well, there's no good bribe. Now, if you want to give me a gift, you can give me a gift, but you should give me the gift and not expecting anything in return.
Okay.
Now, but there's a thin line. Okay.
Yes, a bribe and a gift.
And a gift.
A bribe and a gift.
One slight move could change the whole thing.
Exactly. One time, I was teaching at the university, and a student from the Middle East bought me a nice gold watch, a Rolex watch.
Wow.
Yes. And he gave it to me, and I said, "You sure you want to give me this watch?" He said, "Yes, I know you like watches, so I'm gonna." And it was cheap where I got it. So he gave me the watch. And they like watches, as you can tell.
Oh yeah, I see the collection.
Yes.
Great.
And so he was paying attention to me. He saw that I like watches, so he bought me a nice gold Rolex watch from the Middle East. Next thing you know, is he stopped coming to class. So he wouldn't show up to class. Maybe he show up every 2 weeks. Maybe not at all. He come in late. He leave early, and in the end, he didn't do so well. And then when I gave him a C, which he was lucky enough to get a C,
yes.
He decided to confront me about the watch. He was bold enough to confront me he said, "I gave you that watch as a gift."
He had the direct intention of,
and
this watch is to make sure I make it through this course with an A.
Exactly. And he was bold enough to actually say that. And so I gave him back the watch, and I loved the watch. I really loved it. And I gave it back to him, and he was pretty angry at me. But so people come at you with is the intent. Even in the law, what I do, whether or not it's right or wrong, or illegal or legal, is based on the intent. What was the intent?
Yeah, so you can never know on the spot there unless you put 2 and 2 together and say, okay, this is what this guy actually wants. But you'll never know still at the end of the day until he.
So.
But what condition actually encourages bribery in the first place?
Well, you want something. You need something, and bribery can go again anything. You give sexual favors too. So But people don't talk about that because they figure what happens in the bedroom stays in the bedroom. But
that's a different category of bribery. Where does that fall under? Grand, petty?
That's called sexual bribery.
Okay.
Sexual.
Sexual bribery. Let's leave it like that.
It's not sexual bribery. It's sexual corruption.
Corruption. Yes.
It has its own category. Actually, there's a different name that they call it, but it's so hidden that many people don't talk about it.
First of all, it's kind of embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. Exactly. It is, but it is a beautiful woman can use her sexuality to get what she wants. That's the premise.
Yeah.
So if a lady wants a job in a bank and she doesn't want, whether she's qualified for the job or not, if she's a beautiful woman, chances are she probably will get the job. But nobody ever talks about it because it's embarrassing and so forth. But if you stop to think, every powerful man in the world, what do you think destroyed him? Beautiful woman.
That's what they say. There's a saying we have here, right? Or is it all over the world where they say the downfall of a very great man is a woman.
Yeah.
So it's not just in Nigeria. It's
not just in Nigeria. It's all over.
So, but that falls under sexual corruption, but it's powerful. It is even more powerful than bribery. But it is also a part of the bribe.
Yeah.
But you don't see it because it's not open.
Yes.
You see, it is not. It's hidden. And it's very much cult-like, and you cannot see it when it's happening.
No,
unless you're in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And but what causes bribery is you want something. You want something, and that is one of the reasons that make bribery. Bribery is the most common form of corruption.
Okay. Yes, it's the most common and direct.
The most common and direct form of corruption, because you don't know what it is. If somebody wants you to advertise them on TV while you're here and they want you to talk about their products or so, they can just meet you at a bar or a restaurant and give you a pay for your meal. Oh, no, Hassan, I'll pay for it. No.
You wouldn't even know that you've been bribed.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. and then I give you my card and it says, Lionel Rawlins, sue your company, and so next day you come on air and you start talking. Last night I went to Lionel Rawlins, sue your company. It's the best sue I've ever had. All the millions of thousands of people listening, everybody's flocking to Lionel Rawlins, sue your company, to eat my suya, just because you said it. So you see how thin it is? Where you really don't know.
Favor
exactly.
and bribery, it's very thin.
So can we stop corruption or just control it?
No, you're not going to stop it, you're going to control it.
Okay.
But I will say that anyone can be corrupted, including anyone. If the price is right, you or me we can be corrupted.
You just have to name the price. It might be
it could be anything.
Price, well, different price.
Let's say you had a child, and the child is 2 years old, is a son. He needs a kidney transplant. If he doesn't get it, he's going to die. But you don't have the money, nor the means to send him to America to get first of all, you got to get the kidney, then you have to get him there.
We're talking about a lot of money.
Millions of dollars. Not millions of naira, millions of dollars.
Therefore, in that kind of case, you have no choice.
You have no choice. So, the only thing I'm asking, I come to you and I said, Hassan, I know you have a son who's got some problems, and what's his status? How come you're not helping him? What's going on? And you said, well, we could help him, but I need $3 million. I don't have it.
Yeah.
If I said to you, I'll take care of it, I'll cover it for you. But the only thing I want you to do, in the station where you work, there's a file, and the file says Rawlins.
Get rid of it.
I want you to get that file and bring it to me. You do that, and I'll pay that trip for your son. For you and your family as well. All of you go to New York and get the trip. And you can stay there for 3 months while I'll pay everything. You will get that file for me. Because you don't want your son to die. And it's, I don't care how ethical you are, you'll get that file. Or if I just ask you to don't do anything else, get the file and leave it at the secretary's desk. Just leave it there.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything with it. You don't know what's in it. You don't know what I'm going to do with it. Just take it and leave it on the secretary's desk. That's all, and you get $3 million.
Now that kind of choice leaves you thinking out. This is where you got to really think out of the box. So when you're thinking,
you're not going to be thinking anywhere. You'll be thinking about your son.
Your son, exactly. Human. It's a human. You have to think human. Definitely. You can't think, oh no, it's my job. It's more important than my son. No one.
Exactly,
like
especially if you love your son, and if it's your first son or if it's your only child.
It doesn't really even have to be your son.
I mean,
another human life is important. Is important enough or valuable enough for someone to commit an act of corruption. So
so you see how easy it is to be corrupted.
Yeah.
So the price. Now it was not a promotion. It was not a job. It was not. I didn't specifically give you a house or money or anything. It was a sick son who is in need of a kidney. And so for some other people it could be something else. It could be, you help me purchase this house, or you help me acquire this job, or you help me do this. And people will do anything. So it depends on what is important to you. As I say, everybody has a price.
Yeah, everybody has a price.
Well, with these prices, there should be areas in the society where we're talking about these levels of corruption. There are areas of the society where we see corruption. Which areas do we see the most corruption, or what exactly are the different areas we see?
There's political corruption. These are the ones that are most prominent out there. Political corruption. This is where your politicians go into office and then abuse the office. They're the ones who pay people to buy votes. Or once they get into office, they use that office to do whatever they want to do. Now I have access. I'm the Minister of Transportation or the Secretary of the Interior. And I can sell land to you, and no one will ever know. I just sold you 20 acres of prime government land. And before people know it, 20 years down the line, they realize Hassan owns this land. I just sold you government land. So political corruption is number one. Number two is police corruption. Police corruption is bad, as we know. It's all over. Police could be paid to come to you and arrest you for something, or not to arrest you if you can pay them to do that. They can be paid to destroy evidence so that you don't get convicted, or they can be paid to plant evidence on you. For example, you open your booth, you're sitting in your car, the police put some drugs in your car, and then you say, "Hey, Olga, come out here. What is this in the back of? What is this in your boot?"
And you're like, "Oh,
no, I didn't put that there. Well, I just found it. It's yours. It's your car. Yes, sir. Then you're under arrest.
Well,
but I just paid to set you up."
Okay, but let's look at this scenario. That happens. I come out and, oh wow, okay, I've never seen this before, and then I've got my own money, just like whoever tried to set me up. So I dip into my pockets and I don't know, maybe write a check or give the officer some cash there to maybe more than what he was offered to set me up. And he goes back to the
well, that's a good. That is good, because if I only paid him 10,000 naira to set you up, and you came out and you offer him 20,000, he's going to take the 20. He's going to come back to me and say, well, I couldn't do it. He didn't come through. He didn't drive by, or there's too many people around. I couldn't do it. But the next time I'll do it. But so the next time I come, I do it. He do it again.
You do it, yeah.
And you pay another 20,000.
Yeah. I mean, when will it end?
When you go to prison.
Okay, that's a final bus stop right there.
Because sooner or later, if I don't set you up one way, I'll set you up another way. And but this is a vicious cycle. So police corruption is really bad. Our next thing is judicial corruption. This is where judges are paid off. A lot of government officials stack the court in their favor as well, so that if they got caught doing something, I appointed you to be the judge. Are you going to send me to prison?
No.
You see? And or if I can pay you, Judge Hassan, to my son just murdered someone, I'm going to ask you to make sure that this case gets dismissed. And you're going to find a way to get it dismissed. Meanwhile, the poor man whose son was murdered
wants justice.
He wants justice, he's not going to get it. But I was able to purchase justice for my son who murdered this man's son. So judicial corruption is bad. Then you have things like abuse of, well, oh no, let me go, you have corporate corruption, which is huge. But it's just private. It's just private sector. You know, that's where the financial fraud, the banks rip you off. The banks get together to raise interest rates or to lower it or to do the things to make you just miserable, to rip people off. But we also have things like nepotism and all that stuff, and you have the unions. If you're
how common is that? Is that corporate one?
Corporate?
How common?
No, that's very common. The big businesses get they rip off people. They're the giants at this. If you think the government is bad, the corporations are worse.
Well, how much do the people being ripped off, do they actually know?
Yeah.
They know. They feel it. They feel it. They feel it when you go to purchase something.
Yeah, but because they think it's just usually like a normal procedure or something. It's not. It's not that they're being ripped off sometimes.
They know they're being ripped off. It's like when you go to the store and you buy something and the price is escalates. It was 20 naira yesterday, is 40 naira today. You know something is wrong. You just you have no choice. You want it, you're gonna have to pay for it. You're gonna have to buy it. But everyone knows that they've been ripped off, and sometimes it's blatant too. You know, sometimes it's in the United States. All the banks got together to rip off all the people. That is what had the United States in such an economic meltdown up to a year or two ago. So we have to sit back and wonder, you know, who's worse, the government or the corporation?